You're walking through a quiet forest trail when everything suddenly feels wrong. The birds stop, the wind drops, even your footsteps sound louder than they should. Somewhere nearby, something has already noticed you, long before you noticed it. Humans like to believe we sit at the top of the food chain. Cities, technology, weapons, all signs of dominance. But remove all of that and the equation changes instantly. In the wild, survival is not decided by strength, bravery, or even speed. It's decided by whether you understand how predators think, because predators don't attack randomly. They attack when signals tell them they can win. And the strange part is this: many predator encounters don't end in death not because humans fight back, but because humans accidentally send the right signals to stop the attack. If you want to understand how humans actually survive encounters with the deadliest predators on Earth, not in movies, not in myths, but in reality, consider subscribing. Because once you understand how survival really works, the wild stops feeling random and starts feeling like a system you can read. Across this video, we're not learning how to defeat predators. We're learning how humans survive them. Each animal reveals a hidden rule, a behavior that either increases danger or quietly saves lives. And it all begins with one animal people misunderstand more than almost any other: wolves. Segment 1. Wolves. Most people imagine wolves as relentless hunters that see humans as prey the moment they appear. Movies reinforce the idea of glowing eyes in the dark, coordinated attacks, unstoppable pursuit. The assumption is simple: if wolves are nearby, danger is immediate. Reality is far less dramatic and far more psychological. Wolves are not reckless killers, they are risk calculators. Every hunt costs energy, and every injury can mean death. A broken leg for a wolf isn't just pain, it's starvation. So wolves constantly measure risk versus reward before committing to an attack. Humans are unusual prey. We stand upright, make eye contact, move unpredictably, and often appear larger than we are. All of those signals confuse a predator's decision-making process. What flips a situation is not strength, it's vulnerability signals. Wolves are more likely to attack when humans appear weak, isolated, or unaware. Historically, many rare wolf attacks have been associated with wolves becoming habituated to humans or desperate due to food scarcity. When fear disappears on one side, danger rises on the other. The mechanism is simple: predators attack when success feels guaranteed. If a human maintains posture, keeps eye contact without aggression, and doesn't behave like fleeing prey, wolves often hesitate. That hesitation is survival space. Not safety, but opportunity. There are documented encounters where hikers slowly backed away while maintaining presence, and wolves disengaged once the prey signal never fully triggered. The wolves weren't defeated. They simply decided it wasn't worth it. That's the hidden rule here. But the next predator doesn't hesitate the same way. It doesn't calculate slowly or test boundaries. It reacts instantly to one specific signal humans almost always give at the worst possible time: movement. Segment 2. Mountain lions. Mountain lions don't behave like wolves. They don't circle, test, or negotiate risk the same way. They specialize in one thing: ambush. The common instinct when facing danger is to run. Running feels logical. Distance equals safety. But with mountain lions, movement is exactly what activates the attack sequence. Their brains are wired to react to fleeing motion. A sudden turn and sprint transforms you from a confusing upright shape into recognizable prey. The faster the movement, the clearer the signal. The mechanism is reflexive. Ambush predators rely on surprise and explosive bursts of speed. Once prey runs, the predator doesn't need to think, it reacts. Documented encounters show that people who ran were more likely to be chased, while those who stood tall, maintained eye contact, and slowly backed away often caused hesitation. The predator loses certainty, and uncertainty is survival space. Mountain lions want low-risk prey. Humans who look confident disrupt that calculation. Raising arms, staying upright, and moving slowly changes how the predator reads the situation. The hidden rule here is simple: running doesn't always create safety. Sometimes it creates permission to attack. But the next predator doesn't rely on chase at all. It doesn't need speed or strength to be dangerous. Most of the time, humans cause the encounter themselves without realizing it. And once it happens, reaction time barely matters. Segment 3. Snakes. Snakes don't hunt humans. Yet, snake bites still happen across the world every year, often in places where people least expect them. tall grass, rocky paths, dark corners, or even inside homes. The common assumption is that snakes attack aggressively. In reality, most snake bites are defensive reactions triggered by proximity. Humans don't look like food to most snakes, but stepping too close removes the snake's escape options. The mechanism is distance and vibration. Snakes detect ground movement and respond when something enters strike range. A strike is fast, automatic, and meant to remove a threat, not start a hunt. Many bites occur when someone accidentally steps on a snake or reaches into a place they can't see clearly. The snake doesn't chase, it reacts. Because of this, speed doesn't save you. Awareness does. People who slow down in snake-prone areas, watch footing, and avoid sudden contact reduce risk dramatically. Stillness also matters. Sudden movements escalate threat perception. Calm movement lowers it. Another hidden factor is that many venomous bites are defensive warnings. Some snakes deliver dry bites without venom when possible because venom is metabolically expensive. That means the snake's goal is escape, not conflict. So survival often depends on not triggering the strike in the first place. But the next predator isn't reacting defensively. It actively looks for weakness, and once it senses vulnerability, it doesn't stop easily. Segment 4. Hyenas. Hyenas are often dismissed as scavengers, animals that survive on leftovers rather than skill. That assumption is dangerously misleading. Hyenas are endurance predators with one of the strongest bite forces among mammals. They don't rely on quick kills, they rely on persistence. The mechanism is pressure over time. Hyenas test boundaries, circle, and probe for weakness. They are highly observant of posture, numbers, and vulnerability. A confident group looks difficult. A distracted or isolated individual looks manageable. In areas where humans and hyenas overlap, attacks tend to occur at night or when visibility drops. Documented encounters show that when humans maintain presence, stay upright, and avoid appearing injured or panicked, hyenas are less likely to escalate. Panic introduces unpredictability that can trigger pursuit rather than discourage it. Hyenas aren't fearless, they're opportunistic. Their advantage comes from patience and the ability to outlast hesitation. Predators often attack the easiest option, not the closest one. But the next predator doesn't just evaluate opportunity, it reacts based on motivation, and misunderstanding that motivation can be the difference between escalation and survival. Segment 5. Bears. Bears are powerful enough that strength comparisons stop mattering entirely. What determines survival isn't physical ability, it's understanding why the bear is reacting in the first place. The common belief is simple: run or fight. But bears don't operate under one rule. Their behavior changes depending on motivation. The mechanism is intent. Some bear encounters are defensive. A bear protecting cubs or food isn't hunting, it's removing a perceived threat. Other encounters are predatory, where the bear is evaluating you as prey. These two situations look similar at first, but require opposite responses. In defensive encounters, escalation from the human can increase danger because the bear only wants distance. In predatory encounters, appearing passive can increase risk because the bear is testing vulnerability. Real survival stories show that recognizing behavior cues matters more than reacting emotionally. A bluff charge, huffing sounds, or defensive posture often signal a warning rather than immediate attack. But the next predator removes another advantage humans rely on: solid ground. Because once survival moves into water, physics stops working in our favor. Segment 6. Sharks. Sharks trigger one of the deepest fears humans have: being hunted in open water. The assumption is that sharks see humans as prey and attack deliberately. But most shark encounters don't begin as hunts, they begin as mistakes. The mechanism is sensory confusion. In murky water or from below, sharks rely on silhouettes and movement patterns. A swimmer splashing at the surface or a surfer paddling can resemble injured prey. The shark investigates, not always attacks. Many bites are exploratory. Sharks don't have hands. Their mouths are how they test unfamiliar objects. Once the shark realizes the target isn't normal prey, it often disengages. Movement becomes a deciding factor. Erratic splashing mimics distress signals in prey animals.
Smooth, controlled motion reduces that signal. Eye contact and facing the shark may also disrupt its approach because surprise is a major advantage. Documented encounters show that maintaining awareness and reducing panic movements increases survival chances. Sharks are efficient hunters, not reckless attackers. The hidden rule here, you are most vulnerable when you look like something else. But the next predator doesn't need speed or confusion. It doesn't rely on immediate results at all. Instead, it allows time itself to finish the job.
Segment 7, Komodo dragons. Komodo dragons don't look fast enough to be deadly. Their movement seems slow, almost lazy. That creates a dangerous illusion that distance equals safety. But Komodo dragons don't rely on speed alone. They rely on damage that continues after contact. The mechanism involves a combination of sharp teeth, powerful bites, and venom that interferes with blood clotting and blood pressure. Even if prey escapes initially, weakness builds over time. The predator doesn't need an instant kill if collapse happens later. Documented incidents show that victims sometimes underestimate the seriousness of a bite because the immediate injury may not look catastrophic, but internal effects can worsen gradually, making escape less effective than prevention. Komodo dragons are patient. They conserve energy and track wounded prey instead of chasing endlessly. Survival isn't about outrunning them. It's about avoiding injury entirely. The hidden rule. Some predators win by letting time work for them. Humans don't lose because they're slower. They lose because delayed danger is harder to recognize. But the next predator removes even more control. Because survival isn't decided during the attack, it's decided before you even know you're being watched. Segment 8, Tigers. Tigers don't chase loudly or test boundaries. They remove reaction time entirely. The assumption is that humans can react quickly enough to defend themselves, but tiger attacks rarely allow reaction at all. The mechanism is stealth and targeting. Tigers rely on silence, cover, and a precise bite aimed at the neck. Their strength isn't just power, it's positioning. By the time prey realizes danger, the attack has already started. In many recorded incidents, victims never saw the tiger beforehand. Dense vegetation, tall grass, and forest shadows allow the predator to close distance unnoticed. Human awareness arrives too late. Because of this, survival shifts from reaction to prevention. Avoiding tiger territory awareness failures matters more than physical response. Humans don't outrun or overpower tigers. They avoid situations where surprise becomes possible. But the next predator doesn't rely on stealth alone. It relies on environment itself, turning water into a weapon humans can't counter. Segment 9, Crocodiles. Crocodiles don't chase across open land or stalk through tall grass. They wait where survival advantages belong entirely to them, the water's edge. The assumption is that survival depends on fighting strength or reaction speed once an attack begins. But crocodile encounters are usually decided before contact even happens. The mechanism is ambush powered by physics. Crocodiles remain nearly invisible with only eyes and nostrils above water. When prey approaches close enough, they launch forward with explosive force, clamping down with immense bite pressure and dragging targets toward water. Once in water, the death roll uses rotational force rather than brute strength to overwhelm prey. Most attacks occur during routine human activity, collecting water, washing clothes, fishing, or crossing rivers. The victim often doesn't see the crocodile beforehand. Reaction time becomes irrelevant because proximity already determined the outcome. Survival depends on distance more than bravery. Staying away from murky shorelines, avoiding predictable water access points, and maintaining awareness matter more than physical response once contact begins. But the final predator doesn't rely on strength, speed, or ambush at all. It doesn't even need to attack directly to become deadly. Segment 10, Bats. Bats don't look threatening. They're small, fragile, and usually avoid humans completely. That's why they seem harmless compared to everything else on this list. But the danger bats represent doesn't come from physical attacks. It comes from something invisible. The assumption is that predators kill through claws and teeth. With bats, the real risk is disease transmission, particularly viruses like rabies that can pass through bites or scratches so small they go unnoticed. The mechanism is indirect harm. A bat doesn't need to overpower anything. It only needs contact. Rabies affects the nervous system and without treatment becomes extremely dangerous once symptoms appear. The hidden rule: not all predators kill through force. Some kill through biology. And that leads to the bigger pattern behind every predator you've seen so far. Across wolves, mountain lions, snakes, hyenas, bears, sharks, Komodo dragons, tigers, crocodiles, and even bats, one pattern keeps repeating. Predators don't attack because they are stronger, they attack because conditions favor them. Humans don't survive because they overpower nature. Humans survive because they interrupt those signals. Survival is less about fighting back and more about not triggering the moment where fighting becomes necessary. What makes humans unusual isn't strength, it's the ability to understand patterns. If you want more explorations into how survival, psychology, and hidden systems actually work beneath the surface of everyday life, consider subscribing. And here's the strange thought to leave with. If predators attack when signals say they can win, what signals are humans sending to the rest of the natural world every day?